to the award-winning WHCM 88.3 FM, Palatine, Illinois, a broadcast station of Harper College and its Board of Trustees. So this is First Takes. And what we're going to be talking about today is I got a couple different topics that we're going to be talking about. So we are going to be talking about how social media affects relationships. And then we're also going to be talking about like the different ways that relationships start and how that can either help or hurt your relationship. So that's what's up. Also, I kind of want to announce what's up with First Takes. So we got a little twist on it right now. Finding dates has been a little bit difficult. So I just want to let you all know that you can find First Takes accounts on Grindr, Tinder, Bumble, and Her. Those are all dating apps. They're not personal accounts, and I know I'm super fantastic looking, so, you know, it's hard to resist, but don't ask me if you can be on the radio show with me. Just kidding. I'm not full of myself, but I get a lot of that. Everyone's like, I don't have a date, can you be on the show with me? And I'm like, unfortunately, no, because I have to, do the show. So, yeah, that's been happening. But if you have a date, like if you get matches, like that's what the point of these apps are, right? Is to get matches. So if you're getting matches, be like, hey, I got a fun first date idea for us. Let's go on this radio show, get to know each other a little bit. It's a great way to get to know each other. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, sometimes when I don't have dates, which has been quite often lately, I'm going to talk about some relationship stuff, some sexual orientation stuff, gender stuff, pretty much anything having to do with, I don't know, not really anything, but personal stuff, like stuff that has to do with relationships and how you're feeling and love and self-love, because that's a lot of stuff that I'm interested in and I feel like I could talk forever about. So we're gonna do that. But you guys can also find me on Facebook at First Takes WHCM 88.3 FM. It's my business account, and you can message me on there. And also Twitter at Eliza Van, ELIZAVAN 3. Eliza Van 3, and then the display name is First Takes. So look me up, follow me, do all that stuff, get the latest news on what's happening with First Takes. So yeah, keep updated. So first thing that I wanted to talk about was kind of like how social media affects relationships, and not just romantic relationships, but friendships and family relationships and all of that cool stuff. So I'm like, I don't really know. I think it can be a good thing in some points. Like, it's a way for people to connect, first of all. Like, I know people that have met through social media, they find out that they have similar interests through there. Sharing stupid memes or just like political stuff even, finding out that they have stuff in common. And I mean, that's the cool part of it. But I think more negativity can come from social media than positivity from social media. I mean, a lot of what you do see with relationships on social media is these perfect, positive couples, but that kind of sets unattainable standards for couples too. It's a little bit ridiculous, and not you guys in particular, but people are like hey, I gotta have this perfect relationship. We go on cute dates and we get each other nice things and stuff like that. And I just think that puts up a standard for relationships that isn't doable for most people. And then there's also the suspicion that comes up when you have a social media account. It's like, I know a lot of people have problems with Instagram. So if like a partner in a couple sees that their significant other is liking another person's pictures, either constantly or like once in a while, then they're like, what are you doing? Why are you liking this? Stuff like that. I'm like, just chill. For me, I wouldn't mind, because it's like, hey, I'm liking your art, I'm liking your style, I'm liking all of this stuff. But people get swept up in it, and then they're like, yeah, what, you are flirting with them by liking their picture on Instagram. And I'm like, that's ridiculous. But that happens a lot. Jealousy comes up, and then they're constantly checking on what they're doing, and there's just like no trust in a relationship. And I think trust is really important to have. You have to have some mutual kind of trust to have a good relationship, and if you're constantly checking up on each other and being suspicious, then that's not there. So it's pretty not cool. Yeah, there's that. And then there's also like being on social media when you're with each other, and that's okay. Like, people these days, I sound like an old man, but people these days are having a hard time. Like, well, okay, so everyone's always on their social media, right? Like, checking up, what's the news, what's going on, what are my friends up to, all of that stuff. And I'm like, okay, that's cool, that's fine. But there's a time to be on social media and a time to just kind of be with someone else, with your friends, be present with your family. And that's not really happening if you're just constantly looking at your pages. Right now, I got James with me. He's station manager and host of the Grizzly Den. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, like, my mic's on, but it's not making any noise. You don't even know when my show is.
You know what? It's on Mondays, yeah? No, Fridays.
There you go.
I knew it was either the beginning or the end of the week.
That's okay. Fridays, 9 to 11, not important, because I have something a little more exciting. And that is, hey, guess what?
What?
I got a date.
Okay, so this has been a thing. I'm super excited about this. So, James, for a little bit, has been talking about this girl that he's interested in. And he's a super confident guy. Like, he seems confident on the outside. That's what I should say. He's, like, real cool. He'll talk to you. Like James and I, we're both kind of the people that are just, like, talk about anything. We're pretty open. So I can have, like, a nice conversation with him. But when it comes to girls, how are you when it comes to girls, James?
So I'm normally a social butterfly, unmatched in my capacity to speak to people. When it comes to girls, I just, like, struggle. Like, I lose my, especially if I'm trying to, like, get with them. And that sounds like, oh, I'm just trying to hook up. No, I mean, like, get with them as in anytime I'm trying to ask a girl out or get her number or any of that. All of that confidence I had flies out the window and drives to a different state. And I found that conventionally I'm not very good at this. And we were all at a school event, and there was a girl there who I've kind of been into for a little while. She seems real nice. She's super pretty. She's super smart. She's kind of nerdy in, like, a good way.
Yeah, no, she's, like, a great person. I don't really know her, but, yeah, kind of nerdy, but, like, educated and cool.
And I've never met someone who can match me, or not even match me, who can surpass my ability to speak.
Yeah.
Which sounds so, I almost swore, but it sounds really pretentious. It sounds like I'm like, oh yeah, I'm the best, but I'm really not. Oh goodness, I got loud in my ears for a second.
I accidentally
That's okay.
hit a button. But yeah, no, she's a fantastic speaker.
And she doesn't stutter. And like, I know those are dumb things, but one of the weird things that you gotta understand about doing radio is like, I fall in love with voices now, and not just men's voices, and not even like,
hey baby,
I have like no, but not even like I have some like physical attraction to it, but there's something truly wonderful about listening to someone who can speak really clearly. Like Eliza, you have a fantastic voice, and I'm a big fan. I catch your show every time I go home.
Thank you.
I know it's only for like 9 minutes, but I promise it's something.
Yeah, you have a great show. I've listened to your show a couple of times. It's not like every time. Normally I'm sleeping.
Most people are. It's a morning show.
But you're a nice guy to listen to, regardless of what you're talking about.
And I feel the same for you. And I'm happy that, like, one of the things with her is that, I don't know, it's like I was able to, the first way I met her is she gave a speech, and like from then on, like, I don't know, I'm at a loss for words with a capacity to explain that particular aspect of why I like this girl.
Yeah, you're just
but I'm
attracted
way
to
more
her.
into this girl than I thought I would be. Which sounds bad, but I mean it in a good way.
Yeah, like not in a creepy way.
Like not like, oh, I want to marry her.
No.
No, but like, I've had crushes before and wanted to like date a girl or date girls before, but like, you know, by the time I'm finally got the courage to ask her, I'm like, you know.
Yeah. No, it's
I'm
totally.
kinda, which sounds terrible. That sounds like I'm so shallow, but like, these things really do come and go. That it's like attraction isn't such a. It's not so binary like that, you know.
Yeah.
It's not I'm attracted or I'm not.
It's
Sometimes you're really jonesing on someone. Sometimes you're like, you know, they're all right.
Yeah. No, it's totally apparent when you talk about her too, just how infatuated you are with her. Not like, oh, I love her, I want to be around her all the time, but just she's interesting to you. And I think that's a really important thing to have in a relationship, any kind of relationship, but like especially a romantic one. Like if you want to get involved in that, yeah, you have to have some sort of interest, stuff like that. And like he's all smiley and like nervous and excited, and it's really
Look,
adorable.
I'll shoot with you right here. I will talk about this on my show tomorrow, but I'll be like, hey, yeah, you know, what's up,
I'm
Finn?
cool,
Yo,
yeah,
I'm going
yeah.
on a date tomorrow. Oh, cool. With who? Oh, you know, this is with who? Oh, cool. Yeah. And then we'll move on. But here, you know, this first takes, the whole point of this show is talk about first dates and stuff. And this is like literally a first date.
Yeah,
So-
I'm really appreciative of
so
you coming in here.
I'll come in here probably not next week and give like a report because I'll be like really nervous and
Yeah.
really self-deprecating. It'll be a rough one.
Oh, no, have confidence, dude.
No, I have confidence when I'm around people. You guys should see me when I'm alone with my thoughts. What do you
No.
think?
Like you're getting coffee. It's gonna be chill.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I should get like a good coffee because I never get good coffee because I don't know anything about coffee. So I'm usually
Oh, you
like,
want to look impressive?
no, but like I'm always like, I'll have a caramel latte,
I do that too.
and they're like, all right, is that gonna be all? Yeah.
I went out with this guy once, and we went to this cool coffee shop, and I was like, I'm gonna look sophisticated, so I ordered like one of those nitro brews or whatever, like a cold brew.
You ordered like but yeah, the nitro brews with the like caffeine, like it's got an espresso shot in it or something.
And I'm like, it was decent, like it wasn't bad.
Well, it
but
wasn't great.
It's not something I normally get, and I was like, I'm drinking my nitro brew next to this man, like.
Right, you're trying to be cool. You're trying to like turn it on.
Yeah.
And he's like, you're like, oh, I'm so sophisticated. He must think I'm cool. And he's like, she got a $9 drink. What the hell am I doing here?
Yeah. I mean, like, he got the same thing, so.
Oh, gross. That means, good news. That means he also didn't know anything about coffee and was trying to like follow you.
Yeah, he was like hipsterish too. So
Oh,
that might
then I
explain it.
guarantee that both of you knew nothing about where you were and were putting it on.
Yeah,
And that's okay. That's how a date is sometimes.
It didn't really end well. Funny story, real quick, before I talk about you again.
Just smudged my glasses really bad.
It was adorable. I really want to talk about how adorable James is.
I am not adorable. I am handsome, damn it.
But, so this guy that I went on a date with, it was a Tinder date. Like, we met up for coffee, and then we ended up doing one of those meetup things that you do. You know, it's like an app or whatever.
Like a group me type of thing where
But
or not group me, that's a chatting service.
No,
What's
it's different.
Groupon? That's it that I'm thinking.
Yes.
Where you all go do something together,
It's like different
right?
activities
Yeah.
that they meet up, right? So we did dodgeball because he does that
Oh.
sometimes. And dodgeball was super fun. And then he's like, yeah, I'll text you or call you or whatever. And then I never.
You know why?
Why?
It's because you were bad at dodgeball.
No, I think it's because I hit him a bunch of times.
Oh, you got hit. Oh, you guys were on opposite teams?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me let you in on a hint. And then you got to do a PSA. One of the tricks for me is I play a lot of board games. And board games are almost always competitive. Most of my board games are co-op. That way, when I play a board game with a girl, no one has to lose.
Okay.
See, they're over here playing 3D chess. I'm over here playing the Fallout board game. I also.
Wait.
What you got?
Okay.
Take your time, catch your breath, read a PSA. Read a PSA.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Get a good one.
They're all fantastic, though.
I know, so hard to choose.
Yeah, but safety is really, really important.
How
So-
important is it?
We're going to talk about making sure that your child is in the right car seat. Did you know that motor vehicle crashes are a leading cause of death for children ages 1 to 13?
I didn't know that.
That the fatality rate could be reduced by about half if the correct car seat were always used.
What?
3 out of 4 kids are not as secure in their car as they should be because their car seats are not being used correctly.
Well, I gotta find out how to put my kid in a better car seat. Where can I go?
By visiting safecar.gov/the right seat, parents and caregivers can find out what the right car seat for their child's age and sizes.
What was that URL? One more time?
Safecar.gov/the right seat. Be sure you're sure. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
There you go. It's just like that.
My breath has been caught. You know, PSAs are kind of calming.
Yeah. It's very structured and very easy to read, and they're all very simple scripts.
Yeah.
So you're able to just kind of get back in the zone with them.
I don't have to think about what I'm going to say. It's right there.
I will have to apologize, though, because I have a terrible habit of destroying the fourth wall when I'm on a radio show. We had some guys in this morning, or late afternoon, or early afternoon is how I'll phrase it. But from 1 to 2, we've got a show called, it's not called Frozen Pizza, it's called Pseudo Space.
Is it
It's
new?
Yeah, it's pretty new. They just did their second episode.
Oh, because I've never heard it.
But they're like a just kind of talk about it podcast. They're screwing around. They're having fun. They're telling jokes. Telling interesting stories. Pretty good show. Thursdays from 1 to 2.
Listen in.
But my buddy and I do a very, very similar format. But halfway through a bit, we'll be getting somewhere, and it'll be like, oh, sorry, I bumped my mic.
I do that all the time, too.
And you can't say, because you just don't say anything. No one would ever know. It's really not that loud.
Yeah, and I'm sure I didn't know anything about radio before I came to the radio station. And so, I'm learning about these controls and stuff. And last week, okay, so there's different programs on the board. And you press the different programs to either record a show or do a live show and stuff like that, right? So the programs weren't set right because someone had just recorded a show.
I was in podcast mode.
Yeah. So I I like didn't even realize why the sound wasn't on, and so I tried saying like, "Hey, this is in the wrong program." I'm like, wait, these people don't even know what I'm saying.
To them, it just sounded like nothing.
Yeah.
That would have been that was last Thursday?
Yeah.
I listened to your show last Thursday.
It was like in the very beginning.
Okay, then
So
you
probably
must have
just
fixed it
leaving.
while I was walking to my car.
I did.
Because I listened to probably about 5 minutes of your show, because then I had to run some errands and had to call
Yeah.
my dad.
Good son.
But I was watching like a Fallout video, and I remember pausing it, getting in the car, and then hopping in. And you were just like, it really changed my beliefs about like, who you can be and sexuality and gender. And I was like, it's an interesting spot to hop in on. Sounds like she's really like getting deep into it.
Sounds
And I
like
can
Eliza.
No, and I can respect that. I was just saying earlier, I love when you just get lost in the thought. And maybe it's an anecdote, maybe it's a pre-prepared segment, but you just, you get lost in it. You just are telling how you feel. You're speaking, what do they call it? You're speaking your truth, right?
Oh, I was going to say ad-lib.
Ad-libbing is technically...
What's that speech term that they use? I'm in speech class right now.
Impromptu.
Yeah, impromptu speech. There's a different word for it, I think.
Are you talking about an anecdote? Because an anecdote is like
That's a little story.
It's a story it's like an on-the-cut story that like something reminded you of.
I think it's impromptu, probably.
Is it improvised?
No.
Improvisational?
I don't know what it is. Okay,
Anyway.
My excitement. Did you see my face? I have a face, guys. I know you can't see it, but it did a thing. Okay, so I announced earlier on the show what dating apps I'm on for the radio show and that they're not personal accounts. However, I often get asked, like, hey, what are you up to? Can I be on the show with you? And I got this Her app, which is more of a lesbian dating app.
Neat. As someone who isn't and will never be, that's got to be an interesting app.
Yeah, so it's just girls or queer people, non-binary,
right?
Stuff like that. And this person matched me, and then my account was like deleted. So that was like last night. Then I checked this morning, and we were talking for a little bit, and she was like, yeah, I don't know if I do the radio show, like my anxiety's a little bad. And I was like, no, totally understandable. Like, I get it. Radio can be uncomfortable for some people. I was like, if you're uncomfortable with that, I'd love to take you on a date sometime.
Ooh.
'Cause she's real cute.
Ooh, you putting the moves on?
I put the moves on, and, well, I can't say I don't normally do that, but, like, she's real cute.
And it was just the timing, and
yeah,
you got it down.
and
You
like,
confident in that one?
We talked for a little bit. Well, she messaged me back, and she said, I'd love to. And I was like, yes! Well, yeah! I was, like, super smiley. I was with my friends earlier today, and they were like, what are you so happy about?
You got
like,
a date.
I was like, I pretty much got a date. Like, it's not planned, but I have a date with some cute girl. And then my account got suspended.
You get her number?
No.
You fool.
So, yeah, I should have done it more quickly. I believe my account got suspended because I was promoting my show on it.
Because they were avoiding advertising.
Yeah. Because they said you can't advertise your personal accounts or anything. And I was like, this will be fine because it's not a personal account. It's just a
Right, because they don't want
show.
people selling sex.
Yeah.
Okay, let me hit you with this. Put in your bio. Hey, looking for this person.
Yeah.
What do they call it? They used to have them at the end of a newspaper.
Oh,
It's like Lost Connections or something like that.
Yeah, misconnections.
What
I think
is
it's
it?
misconnections, right?
I gotta find this.
Yeah. Anyway, I like emailed the app, and I was like, I lost my account. Blah 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 blah. Well, so I made a new account, because I was like, I have to find this person. I am very interested in this. And I just got notified that she matched me again.
Just now?
Yeah, a few minutes ago when I did that face.
Oh, that's so exciting.
Yes,
That's
it was
so exciting.
very exciting. I was super happy about it. So now, first thing I'm going to do is get her number.
Good. Say, hey, I know it's pretty forward. What's your number? And then you can just go back to promoting your show.
Why can't you do that with girls? Okay, I'm going to talk about how James is adorable. I mean, handsome and grizzly.
Thank you.
Look at that man. So manly.
It's the beard. I have a story to tell you, though. So if you want to hear it, I got you.
Yeah, go.
Okay, so I've actually got two. So the first one is I've been in Palm Springs. The disrespect. Oh my goodness. She mutes my mic. She's like, I'm over it.
He said he was in Palm Springs for 5 days. I don't know how to work radio. I don't know what I'm doing.
I'm just in here. Just talking. No, so I've been in Palm Springs for vacation for the last few days. And there's two really noticeable things. And I mean neither of these in a negative way. The first of which is I had a good thing with a girl. And I'll tell you that is the story. And the second thing was an unexpected and honestly a little surprising amount of gay guys. And I have no issue with that. You know, I have no personal issue with people living their lives.
That's in Florida, right?
No, it's in California.
Oh, California's really gay. Okay, if you could choose a gay state, what state would you name?
That's an accurate statement. But like I said, I just want to get across because this is going to sound like I'm mean, but you can attest to this. I don't make judgments about people based on race, religion, sexual orientation. None of that matters to me. What matters to me is if you're a good person. So this is not to, cast judgment on their character. I'm sure some of these guys were terrible, and I'm sure some of these guys were fantastic. But it was like every other guy was holding the first guy's hand.
I'm just imagining like a choo-choo train, like those preschool things where they're all holding onto rings.
Yeah.
I'm just imagining a bunch of.
But it's like
guys.
1,000 gay guys.
Yeah.
So there was one that really stood out to me. We went to a sandals and socks store. So I mean, I shouldn't be too surprised. Or is that offensive? It's a little offensive. I don't think so.
Like,
so
guys wear sandals.
No, but I mean saying that's like I shouldn't be surprised. Socks and sandals. I forget what it's called. They got cool socks there. I got wizard socks there 3 years ago. So big props to the store.
I don't know if it's offensive. Whatever.
So we go inside, and there's a dude who is a pretty normal looking dude. And then there's a guy in bright neon pink cargo shorts, but they're like real skinny.
Oh, yeah.
A teal with like little boats on it, button up. Like a short sleeve button up, kind of like a boating shirt.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's bright teal on his bright pink pants.
Wow.
He has like beautiful, extremely well kept skin. It's a little darker than like someone who's Greek or Italian. You know how they've got more of the olive skin tone.
Yeah.
It's a little darker than that. So he might have been Mexican or Hispanic in some way. I'm
Mexican.
Trying not to be mean because I don't want to be, because that's not who I am.
Thank you for trying to learn.
Of course,
that's
of course.
The best
that's
thing.
all. My ignorance can only be overcome with practice and effort. That's how I'm gonna say. But he had like beautiful skin and like his nails were great, and he had a perm that was dyed gold. So it was only like one shade lighter than his skin. And he's
what?
Again, I don't mean it in an offensive way, but he's probably the gayest person I've seen. Like the most outwardly noticeable, Like if you saw him on the street, you'd be like, yeah, that dude's probably into dudes. But that's not a bad thing. But it was like unique. I was impressed. I was like, you are beautiful. I'm impressed, sir.
Yeah.
And then my second thing is we went to a real fancy restaurant, and my phone died just before dessert came out. So I was going out and back and forth, hitting my vape out, in front of the building, and then go back and hang out with my family for a little while. And the hostess was kind of cute. So we were talking. She was talking. I did this thing. She was like, "Wow, your vape smells good." And I was like, "Yeah, here, give me your hand." She gave me her hand. And I did a single drop of my vape juice on her finger so she could taste it. No, I was like, "Try it." And she was like, "Okay." And she liked it. I don't know. I'm not trying to be mean or
you
creepy.
did that to me before.
Probably. That's how
like,
you
okay.
try juice.
I never knew that before you told me.
So we did that, and then I got to talking to her while we were there. And then as we were leaving, I asked my little sister to help me take my hair out of a bun, because when I put it up in a bun, I used two, what are the stretchy things you put your hair in?
Ponytail holders?
You're correct, and that's what they're used, but what are they called? They're black.
Hair ties?
Hair ties, thank you.
But people call them different things. Scrunchies, ponytail holders, hair ties, hair bands.
Hair bands, correct. You are correct in all of these things. So I had two of those in, and I needed help taking it out. My little sister's like, "No, I don't wanna." And I was like, "Oh." So I walked up to her, and I was like, "Hey, can you help me take my hair out of a bun?" And she was like, "Yeah, I'd love to."
Oh, that's cute.
And then she did it, and then I was like, "Hey, thank you." I asked her name. I was being polite, trying to do my normal thing. And then when we left, I went with my dad to go get the car, and my little sister walked up to me and was like, "Hey, my brother thinks you're cute." And she was like, "I think he's cute too. He should have said something."
Oh my god, that's adorable.
So that gave me the confidence to go ask Ushna out today.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, you said her name.
I know.
Yeah, so
It was a calculated risk, and I took it. And I took it. Ushna or Ushna? I can never remember. And I feel really terrible because,
Ushna?
like the speech she did, the first one was like about how people mispronounce her name.
Oh.
So
I feel like I've heard Ushna.
as have I. So anyway, so that was kind of my motivation there.
I'm so
So
happy
isn't that
for
kind of
you.
cute? Isn't that kind of cute?
It is adorable.
See, when I'm terrible outside of a relationship, but I'm even worse at tuning in to 88.3 WHCM, Harper College Radio, a broadcast station of Harper College and its board of trustees.
Yeah.
So I do have to go, as it's 4:30. It's a little past. Eliza, thank you for having me on your show.
I'm going to keep on talking about you when you're gone because I really want to say how adorable you were when you were trying to...
No.
Oh, it's a...
You can.
I'll do it while you're walking to your car so you can't hear me.
You're going to keep doing it once I'm in my car.
No. I'll move on to talking about the different ways that relationships start.
Okay.
It'll be like 5 minutes tops.
I'll take a real long walk. Thanks for having me on, though, Eliza. This has been fun.
Stop and go potty on the way.
Turn your music up real quick.
friends hated your ironic attitude. Same for me, it wasn't cute. Guess I've been assuming that real life was like a movie, but you didn't even give us a chance. When all the good things happened, you were absent and distracted, not supportive. You acted mean and kinda bored. I fall to a piece. I can tell the heart breaks in degrees. Smiling as I look back, wondering why it took so long to see. I never meant to call you, but then I went and called you twice. I never meant to know you, but now I know the things you like and don't like. And baby, when I saw you, I saw that we would crash and burn. I went to every school, but I never really learned. Love notes on the table. I was broken and disabled by the pain, by the pain. Like it was a mantra, kept repeating all the drama we created. It was our baby. Found myself concealed.
Okay, update. I have gotten the number of the girl. I'm very excited about this. She's like, I like to get to know people for a while. And I'm like, yeah, me too. Like, I want an actual conversationalist, someone that I can talk to, and not just, like, go straight into stuff. Because, like, okay, sex is cool. Whatever. It's fine. But I want to get to know somebody. Like, I don't want to just jump right into that. And, like, yeah, I've been there before when I've just been like, let me mess around. But I'm more feeling something where I want to connect with somebody right now. Back to talking about James before he gets to his car. So we were at this event, and he's like obviously looking at Ashna, and he's like, I'm interested in her. Like, she had told him he had nice eyes, and like she was complimenting him, and I was like, maybe it's flirting. Some people are just kind like that. So like you can't always tell. But then he was like, how do I get to know her, or how do I approach her and say like, hey, do you want to go out, or can I have your number? So she had her Snapchat out at one time. Like, I was really pushing him to go talk to her, but she was like talking to her other friends and everything, and I was like, okay, that's fine. Like, eventually she had her Snapchat out by her friends, and he's like, hey, I saw you had your Snapchat out, can I get your snap? But then he doesn't know how to use Snapchat. Like, I'm kind of the same way. I don't use Snapchat often. I've talked to a few people that like to use it, so I'll use it then. But what do? Like, you just send a random picture, and you're like, hey. Again, it's short, and it's not personal. So I'm not really into it. And I think James felt the same way. Like, he doesn't really use it often. So he was like, what do I do? And we're like, just send a picture saying, tune in to my show from 9 to 12, I think, on Fridays. I messed up again, probably. The Grizzly Den with James. And, oh my God. Starts with an N. I should know this. Nate? Something like that. Whoops. Yeah. So he like went up and asked for a Snapchat. I was like, tell her to tune in. And he's like, okay, I guess I'll do that. But he didn't. He got too nervous. I guess either today or yesterday, a bunch of the radio people, and like one of the girls you met on student government, she found out about it because she walked in while James and I were talking about it one day. Because he's been wanting to talk to her for a while, but just has been a little nervous about it. So she walked in and she found out. she like put together some context clues. It wasn't that difficult to figure out. And so I guess Nimet, Eric, DJ Rick, who else was in here? Keith, and yeah, I'm not really sure who else, but like a bunch of people were trying to get him to go over and talk to her. So I guess they took like a field trip to the student government office, and while she was working, he walked in there, he's like, I want to have a conversation with you. And so they had a conversation about I don't know what. But then he was like, I actually came in here to ask you if you wanted to get coffee tomorrow. And so he has a coffee date, and I'm just really excited for him because he's been into her and like he's super interested, and it's amazing to be able to be interested in someone and have a date. You know, maybe it'll work out, maybe it won't, but I'm happy for James because he's a great guy. So that's really, really cool. But I'm going to stop talking about James in case he's in his car now. James, if you're listening, I'm sorry. But yeah. So there are a couple of things that like I want to talk about regarding starting relationships and stuff like that. So, okay, you know, there are like a lot of different ways that relationships can start. Like, you meet each other at a bar, like a club. You have mutual friends and they hook you up. You are friends beforehand. You meet each other in class. There are so many ways that this can happen. But I kind of want to talk about, you know, the effects that they can have on the relationship. So I guess what I want to talk about first is being friends beforehand, because I've been there. For other people, it may be completely different, but for me, what happens is, like, I'm friends with somebody, and they end up asking me out. And I get along with these people. I have some sort of attraction to them. So I'm like, okay, cool, I'll go out with you. And so we go on a few dates. But then I get stuck in this place where I'm like, oh, I don't know, like, I don't want to break up with them because they're good friends, and, like, maybe I can work something out. Maybe it's me, and we could have a connection. But that just, it always ended badly for me. Not like I'm not friends with them anymore or anything. Sometimes I'm not friends with them, but it's just kind of awkward because I'm like, I don't really know what to do. I feel bad because we've been friends and this person likes me, but I just don't feel that way about them. And I think that can happen. And then the other part of it is when it does end badly. So, like, you have this good friendship, and then it can totally, like, just not go really well because you end up having a falling out and you disagree on stuff, and it can get awkward afterwards, and then you're left without that good friend that you had, and I think that's really unfortunate. So yeah, that kind of sucks a lot. I think one of the best ways to meet people is kind of in a natural setting where you're both doing what you enjoy. So, I don't know, what's an example? Have I been in a relationship like this? Yeah, I haven't. Or, you know what? I guess I've, like, had a short-term thing that just didn't end up working out. But I was going to this stuff, and this guy that I thought was cute liked it too, and we kind of just hung around and talked and developed a connection first. And not necessarily a fantastic friendship, but just realizing that we had things in common. And so later on, I had told him that I liked him. And we had things in common. We had things to talk about. We had good conversation. And that's really what I was looking for in a relationship at that point. So I think that relationship worked out well for me because we had this mutual interest, and it was easy. It was comfortable, and that's something that I think works out really well. So if you are looking to find someone, I think one of the best things that you can do is get out there and be social. Find things that you like to do. Yeah, exactly. Like, go out. Just go out. There's meetup apps where you can find things, like they have soccer games, art stuff, a bunch of different sports that you can do. Some like dinner things, wine tastings, things like that, where you can just go and do something that you're interested in, but also possibly meet somebody. And I think those are great ways to get involved and find someone that you have something in common with and that you can have conversation with. And then another way is friends setting you up. Now that's a little sketch for me. Like, I don't really know how I feel about that. Like, your friends know you really well for the most part. They kind of know what you've been into, what's gone wrong in some relationships, things like that. And so they can kind of pick out a person that they think may fit with you. So it could end up well if you guys end up fitting together nicely. But also there's not really that natural connection there at first, just because you were set up. So unless you guys meet up and it's automatically like, hey, we click, that's cool. I think when you try to push it just because your friends set you up and you're both friends with, your friends are friends with each other and stuff like that, it's like, don't try to stay together just because you don't want to break up the friend group. Like, have a mutual conversation where you're like, hey, this isn't working out for me and I'd love to still be able to hang out with our friends and everything, but it's not gonna work. You know, and some people that might not work for. They may be like, nah, I can't see you anymore because this didn't work out well. But I think people can be understanding for the most part. So I think that's that on that. I don't really have much else to talk about. I think that's all I got. So I'm going to hit you with a PSA. I'm going to relax a little bit, take a nice deep breath, find something interesting to read, and then I'll let you listen to some music that I picked out. It's been playing in the background the whole time, but this is my chill music that I really enjoy listening to when I just don't really want to hear a lot of noise in my head. Like, I don't want to hear my thinking, but I also don't want too much going on. So yeah, let's find something to read. I'm a really bad singer, but I'm gonna sing a little song 'cause it's fun and stuff. I don't even know what I'm doing, but I got a radio show and it's fun to do. Oh, cool. So, actually, right now, you guys are listening to Green by Cave Town on 88.3 FM WHCM radio. I'm Eliza. Are you and your friends looking for something to do after classes? Come out and support Harper Hawks Athletics. Go to harperhawks.net. That's harperhawks.net for a full season schedule of each sport. Support our student athletes and go Hawks! So coming up next, we are going to play some Lying in the Sun by The Beths. It's from their album Warm Blood. And then one of my personal favorites after that is going to be Fiddler, Max Can't Surf. Just a fun song. Fiddler always makes me happy. So yeah, enjoy. Have some fun listening to some music.
Love yourself, your body
quick announcement for you guys. So my Her account has been suspended once again because I'm breaking community guidelines by promoting my radio show. So unfortunately, you won't be able to find me on there. I get no lesbians. Okay, Tinder has lesbians, Bumble has lesbians, everyone has lesbians. It's great, but I don't get exclusive lesbians. Unfortunate, I know, but I broke community guidelines, so no account for me. But I found that girl, so it's all chill. I got her number, so that's real cool. Back to the music.
Never coming up for air, never coming up again. These autumn eves are elastic. My passion on my bare feet and the sand between my bed sheets. So when I sleep, it feels like I'm lying on the beach. Summer is over and the water's getting colder, and the knots are tight in my shoulders. Come undone, it feels like I'm lying in the sun. 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 He's gotta stay in shape. He's gotta stay in shape. Eating down taco and sleeping, playing video games. He's smoking 2 packs a day. He's got dubstep in his veins. I smoke weed if my baby lets me. Oh, I won't get laid. And maniacs can't surf. Maniacs can't surf. He gets real stoned and tries to make it work. But God knows he's got no balance. Message from the dolphin. Just living with recluse. Giving no shit, I'm a full-grown man. Trying to do the best that I can. We gotta take the forecast and throw away my skateboard. Stop wearing tight jeans and put on some more shorts. 'Cause maniacs can't surf. Maniacs can't surf. He gets real stoned and tries to make it work. But God knows he's got no balance. Smoking 2 packs a day. 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 He gets real stoned and tries to make it work. God knows he's such a jerk.
Sorry, it's just people are complaining.
Too bad!
You know, they want to know if you guys can maybe try tuning up again or
No!
play.
This is Eliza back on air with First Takes. That is the end of our show. Tune in on Thursdays from 4 to 5 p.m. to hear about relationships, maybe catch a first date. Soon, I'm hoping to bring my own first date on. It's going to be my last show of the semester, so that'll be interesting to hear. Look forward to that. You have been listening to the award-winning WHCM 88.3 FM, Palatine, Illinois, a broadcast station of Harper College and its Board of Trustees. Back to our automated programming.